Welcome to the Hoppy Time Podcast. We're continuing with the series of firsts and have a special guest. We'll be reviewing Cass's Pick and getting to know our guest a bit more. Join us for our shenanigans.
It burns, but it's like an afterburn.
Yeah.
All right. Welcome to the Hoppy Time Podcast, episode number 5. Yes, we're on episode number 5. I'm Flames Kid.
I am Lena.
And I'm Chris Cass.
And today we have a very special guest.
This is Eli.
Damn, look at that sexy ass voice.
For real, man.
Oh my
Damn, okay.
I think this is why we.
I'm sorry, ladies.
So
He's
much.
taken, so please, refrain
Back off.
from. Yeah, just back off. So today we're gonna do Cass's Pick. But before we proceed with that, let's catch up, guys. Cass, what you been up to this last week?
It is my pick, huh?
Yep.
Let's see. What I have been up to. Honestly, not much, man. Just applying for jobs, looking around for stuff. Not really. I don't really know what to do with my life, as a lot of people out there, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's
Midlife
just-
crisis.
I mean,
More like quarter life.
no, I'm almost there. I have this saying where like I'm not gonna live to see 30. For some reason, it's just like I've been saying that for a while, since I was like 18. But I mean, enough of the melancholy stuff. Just want to stick to the automotive thing, because I kind of like cars, and I don't know, man. I think it's something I've decided to do for my life, because I realized that I know Hugo has this saying, or not a saying, but he has this mentality where there comes a point where you get too old for cars. I don't think that's true, man. It's like it's something you can build a career around. So
I mean that's I want to agree with you on that, but I want to also disagree, because if, for example, there's car enthusiasts who are older, their 30s, 40s, 50s, but that's not their main focus in life. Like, they have other things going on for them, and their cars are just like their hobbies, basically.
Yeah.
And that's cool. I mean, I respect that. If you have the money and you have the time for it, why not?
But here's the thing that I don't agree on. It's being a car enthusiast doesn't necessarily mean you wanna fix up like a shit box or something like that.
Yeah.
There's different levels to it. There's car enthusiasts that like supercars.
Yeah.
There's car enthusiasts that like old school cars. There's car enthusiasts that like for lack of a better word, legendary cars,
Okay.
like cars you can't find anywhere else. So there's different levels to the aspect. It's not necessarily, oh yeah, man, let me pour my life savings into a shit box and, make it street ready or make it race ready. Like, no, like there's different levels to it.
Yeah.
So that's my take on it. Like, that's why I don't agree with what Hugo says, like like you don't have to be, like, being a car lover doesn't end at a certain age. You can be a car lover your whole life. The only thing that changes is the way you see it. When you're young, you want to buy an old car. You want to make it better. You want to tune it. You want to pour money into it. Like our friend Adrian, he's dropping money in that freaking bottomless pit. He calls it 240.
Hey, man, but I mean,
no, yeah, it makes him happy, and
yeah.
that's the whole point, bro. Do what makes you happy.
Absolutely.
But Abraham, his brother, is doing the same thing, and I guess Hugo doesn't approve of it or whatever. I mean, it's fine. People have their own opinions, but there's different levels to it. Like maybe Abraham's dream was to build his own 240 one day. Like maybe that's like his big dream, and he's doing it. He's done it. He's actually got it started up, and I'm proud, and I'm actually like surprised. I'm just like, wow, like he actually did it. And it's like a sense of accomplishment for him, and I'm glad. But like being a car enthusiast doesn't end at a certain age.
No, of course not.
Yeah, and that's basically my whole take on it. Like it doesn't just end at one certain age.
And just for our listeners, we're giving a shout out here to Hugo, Abraham, and Adrian, all of who are our friends, and they're all car enthusiasts. Just want to give a little shout out to them, because we did mention them. eventually, that hopefully one day they'll be on this podcast and you'll be able to, listen to them talk and ramble on.
All right, and a big shout out to Hugo, one of our listeners. He has an insurance and DMV services business, so you can contact him. He's located in LA. You could reach them 323-231-2807, and he's able to help if you have any questions.
And this is not sponsored, by the way, but we just like helping out our friends here.
Yeah, we're gonna sponsor anyone that comes through, just because it's good to like.
Why not?
Yeah, why not? We shout out to all the breweries that we listen to. That we drink, and we just explore. So, and we're not getting paid for any of this. It's all coming out of pocket.
We definitely are not.
Yeah,
I can guarantee you that.
but we're having fun while doing all of this. It's not for the money.
Yeah. Now let's bring on our shy guest on here.
That's exactly what I was gonna get to. I was gonna cut my ramble because I know I rambled on for a bit.
We gotta introduce our buddy.
Well, we kind of already did, but we needed to.
We should have let him go first. Like, why make me go first? You should have let him go first.
I don't know.
That's for last. What you mean?
Oh damn. Okay.
And so hey, say my name, bro, please, with your voice.
All right, Eli.
Oh my god.
Give us a little bit of background on you, man.
All right. So you guys know my name. It's Eli. I've been friends with Chris for about a cast with like 10 years.
It's been over like 10 years.
Over 10 years, over a decade since high school.
It's like we were friends before high school, right? No, not before high school, like during high school.
During high school.
It's already been about 10 years.
So yeah, 10 years. Long time. That's a long time.
Damn, 10 years?
It's been more than 10 years, but yeah,
that's what you could recall.
Yeah, pretty much, man.
Yeah, it doesn't feel that way. It went by fast.
It really doesn't, huh?
Yeah.
10 years, man. That's a lot.
Damn, man. That's. I mean, I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but 10 years is a lot.
10 years is a lot, dude.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. That's basically an entire
That's a decade.
That's basically elementary school and middle school in most places for a lot of people.
What's elementary, middle, and part of high?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
If you
that's
don't
why I
count-
said, that's why I
yeah.
said most places, because I
Yeah.
know some places also have high school. I'm sorry, not high school. Elementary and middle school, or middle school and high school together.
Yeah, that's true. So Eli, what do you do for a living?
I'm a mailman in the city of Long Beach.
Shit. Fuck yeah.
Why don't
Bring in the
I-
stimmy.
The
why-
stimmies.
I don't ever see you deliver my mail.
Oh, because I don't deliver around here.
Hey man, I got a beef
deliver
to pick with you
in
though.
the bougie
Why
part
every
of
time I
Long Beach.
order something in the mail,
They want to come.
it always comes late?
For real.
Because-
But when I don't order nothing, the mail comes at 1:00. Why, Eli? Tell me. Help me understand.
That's a good question. I know it's crazy right now. It's crazy. Post office is a crazy place right now. We got people that don't want to work, or we got people.
I think that's everywhere.
That's just every place, dude. Honestly.
Yeah,
but every place. But when that happens at the post office where you need all the people to come and you gotta get out things. It doesn't help that you don't have the right amount of people to get all that out.
But I would assume that you. I mean, I know that it's a place where there's enough workers to cover the entire thing. I mean, I would assume that there would be enough workers to cover all the routes.
Well, that's the thing.
Or at least an excess of it, not just
Well, that's the thing. Like, yeah, there's enough, but then you got people that have their days off. Then you have people that you're always gonna have people calling off.
Yeah,
you got the sick people. You got the people that don't want to come to work that day,
Yeah.
and then you got people that it's just their day off anyways. So there's we're supposed to have enough people to cover the routes.
Yeah,
That's the idea. We're supposed to. Right now, that's not happening.
damn.
Right now, like especially like at this post office you guys have right near you guys.
Yeah.
They're working here to like 10, 11 o'clock at night on a daily right now.
Are you serious?
So
Yeah.
what time are they starting?
7:30,
Ooh, long
6:30,
days.
depending who.
And
what
it's
time.
just one person per shift.
Yeah, like one person's carrying
So how many?
like two route So this is how they break it down to
Yeah.
us.
Okay.
A regular route is supposed to be 8 hours. So 2 of those hours is you inside the station organizing your mail and packages.
Okay.
So that means
Mhm.
technically it's 6 hours out on the street actually delivering,
Oh shit. Okay.
right?
Okay.
So like for example, at this station, you have people carrying 2 routes.
Okay.
So that means that's 12 hours on the street, 6 and 6.
So how long are they at there?
Jesus.
4 hours?
No, well, they're still in the office for around 2 hours because someone else is getting their overtime ready. You know?
Okay.
So they're getting their main route done.
Yeah.
Right? And then usually someone else is preparing their overtime for them.
Gotcha.
So, they still spend their 2, depending how heavy it is, sometimes a little bit over 2 hours to get all that done. And then you head out to the street. And then depending if they were able to get your overtime ready before you left, you could take that with you. If not, you either have to come back or they take it out to you.
Damn.
So.
And I mean, in all fairness, would you say that you're fairly compensated for all the work that you're doing?
No.
No?
No. At least
he's not essential, apparently.
Yeah, we're not even essential. We never got considered essential workers.
And that kind of sucks because,
don't feel offended. I'm technically considered essential for working at a hospital and definitely not being paid for that.
I mean, it's just...
Well, here's... I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's fine.
And I've told this to Eli countless times before. I was like, when I was working at Starbucks, like they were raising our pay by like $1 or $2. I can't remember exactly how much. And during like the whole pandemic and all that stuff, like that essential pay. And they were paying him that. So you like this is what I don't get. This is what I don't understand. Like, how is Starbucks essential, like more essential than the freaking post office? I don't understand.
I don't think it's that. I think it depends on the company itself because,
to be honest, I don't want to take it there. I would just leave it at this. It's a lot of political stuff. So
no, of course. I mean, I know yours is a government body, kind of. The post office, but as far as like Starbucks and other places go, I think it depends on the company itself and how they want to,
But companies don't do that unless they're being compensated.
No, of course.
Right?
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that Starbucks was not compensated.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying that Starbucks, was, in a way or two. I mean, I'm not supporting Starbucks or anything like that, but from the way I see it is maybe they were it benefited them to pay you guys more to keep you guys working rather than to slave you guys,
Well, see, here's the thing though, because they gave us 2 options at the time that happened. Either we get the extra pay. I believe it was actually $2 or $3 now that I remember. We either get the extra pay or we take a leave of absence during that time. So it's just like, I mean, I see what you're saying, it benefit them more. But how was giving us a leave of absence benefiting them more? Giving us that option.
If they're gonna pay other employees more, they need to make sure other people stay home.
That's true. And I mean, it wasn't just your company where I was working at the time of when the whole pandemic started. They didn't offer us anything like that. They said it was just like another day of work.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I don't understand.
We got no compensation for it,
Yeah, and your jobs like yours and Eli's are more important than mine at the time.
See, but like I said, it depends on the company's approach. Like I said, my company, they didn't give a shit. They're like, oh, we're gonna keep you working, and that's that. Your company, Starbucks, it's more well known. They're trying to keep a good face on media. So
that's actually very true.
So I mean, that's the same way I would act. I mean, they're getting compensated anyway.
Yeah.
In all honesty, it's not like Starbucks was really hurting, giving just a few more.
Oh, they were hurting.
You think so?
Oh, dude, trust me, man.
I
mean, when I was working there, I was pretty into keeping up with that company, and they were hurting.
I mean, it's like any company during the pandemic. I mean, from March 20.
I think everyone lost a bit in the beginning of the pandemic.
I mean, pay attention. I've only been in the stock market from December 2020 and on, and I heard about March 2020. I heard about some companies losing a lot of value. In the stock market, and that's why people bought a bunch of stocks at the time. Anybody that bought stocks back in March of 2020 are up at least 50% of their portfolios. So, I mean, that says a lot, So I wouldn't be surprised if that's the same case here. But yeah, Eli, other than that,
to make things worse.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Not only were we not considered essential and did we not get an essential pay or whatever?
Yeah.
We actually didn't get raises we were supposed to get.
So they promised you guys raises and you guys
No,
didn't
because
get them.
by contract they're supposed to give us at least 2 raises a year. Yeah, by contract, we're supposed to get at least 2 raises a year, and we weren't considered essential. We didn't get that essential pay, and we didn't get our raises for, what was it, the beginning of 2020 and then some of 2021.
So how long have you been at your job, just so people know?
Over 2 years now.
Over 2 years?
Yeah.
Holy.
Yeah, I started back in 2019.
So we're supposed to get at least 4 raises by now, right?
Mm-hmm.
How many have you gotten?
Well, they're actually back paying us all that.
Okay.
God.
See when you say it like that.
You're making it seem
no,
like
I know.
a whole issue.
I know. It was an issue.
Okay, bro.
It was an issue, and then
somebody
they
get this guy off our podcast.
they just started. Okay, we have to fight.
He's out here raising awareness for issues that are being fixed.
I was just letting y'all know what happened.
I'm not getting any back pay for any of that.
It's because we have a union. Our union fights for us.
Man,
that's true.
They got us our money.
No, yeah, of course. Man.
Hey man, you still get paid fairly well, by the way. But I'm just gonna end that there.
That was pretty funny.
Yeah, but I gotta put in a lot of work.
That's
You
true.
really
No, yeah,
do.
you do,
You're
bro.
putting in long-ass
You were
days.
working to the bone when they put you out here, huh?
Not just that. I mean, it's a lot of time that you're working on the field, and you're not like, you can't get days off, so you're missing, family events,
trust me,
gatherings,
man.
stuff like that.
Eli got no days off.
He's
Yeah,
hustling
I
day
know.
and night.
So
I know he got no days off.
that's a sacrifice. Yeah, you're getting paid for it, but then at the same time, you're just like, damn, like I'm missing out on this, I'm missing out on that. So
Yeah.
At some point, do you think the money's not worth not having a life?
Not really. Not really. No. At least not with this job, because at least not being a carrier, and it also depends, I guess, on the route and on how you take care of yourself. But
yeah,
Makes sense.
The station where I'm at, there's 3 carriers that have been there for like 30, 40 years, right? And their knees are busted. Like,
Damn.
but wouldn't they retire at some point?
Well, that's the thing, dude.
that's the
There's
thing,
like
there's
government
like-
jobs,
yeah,
like
there's
if
like
you
a
retire after
limit.
20 years, you're retired.
So why wouldn't they retire after 20 years?
Well,
Well,
they have to reach the age.
Yeah, they have to reach the age. Yeah, you have to reach those 20 years. Like for example, like they're like Eli. Maybe in 5 more years, his knees get busted.
Oh, okay.
God forbid. But
You
he
still have
wants to
to-
work up to that
I
retirement.
get you.
age,
know?
I get it
wanna
now.
keep
I get it
going.
now. Okay.
So like, yeah, it's like I see them and they're like, it's hard for them. Like it hurts for them to walk and and I'm like, do I really want to end up like that? Like,
Well, you did mention once before about supervisor positions.
yeah, there are, and
You think you ever go for one?
I would, just because it seems better than busting my ass out there and then yeah, you're making decent money, and but in the long run you're messing up your knees, you're messing up your back, and then once you retire, if you don't take care of yourself right, like I'm pretty sure I would, but you never know.
Yeah.
And then I get to retirement and I can't even enjoy my retirement.
That's true. I mean, that's the problem with a lot of things that are happening. It's one of the reasons that people these days are quitting their jobs. Because they're realizing that a job is not worth everything they have to endure to get a paycheck. And people are finding alternatives to make money. That's why we're having this problem with people getting jobs and people not applying to jobs because they're like, fuck that, like I don't want to work, and getting paid $15 an hour, which is minimum pay here in California, and working 8 hours a day, for a job that's gonna slave me basically,
Which $15 an hour, that's not even enough for a person to live on their own.
Not even.
Nope.
and we're talking California here, so
Yeah.
I mean I know other states are a little bit different.
It's better in other states, but here in California,
You can't
being
live
on your
off of
own,
that.
$15 an hour,
No.
working 8 hours or less a day, it just
yeah,
it's
not
expensive
enough.
here.
It's not
And
enough.
that's why
It's
our
not.
household, almost all the family members that are 18 and over have to work. Even some people in high school, they go to school and they work just to help out the family with what they can, or at least have a life, because their family, they can't afford to let them have the high school experience that is also very expensive.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
Mhm.
That's true. Yeah, but yeah, man. Any other words you gotta say?
Did I mention I also game with
So
Cass?
you're a gamer.
Oh
huh?
my God, Eli, what do you play?
Oh, I don't know. Just like a couple games, like was it Genshin, Apex?
Okay.
So Genshin
Smite
Impact,
sometimes.
Apex, Smite. So basically, yeah.
I mean,
You basically game with me though.
yeah, I pretty much game with Cass
Yeah.
and some of our other
what
friends.
are you? You're a PC gamer. You're a console player.
Same thing as Cass when he said was the first podcast. I used to be a console only gamer.
Yeah.
You know, I was heavy on the PS4. Me and him.
Yeah.
I think that's where we started. That's where we started playing at first on the PS4, playing Destiny 1. You know, hundreds of hours on that game.
Oh yeah.
Get off of work, straight to Destiny. That's all we did.
Dude, don't get me started with those days, bro.
Those were the good days.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man, that good
game,
old days, man.
That game back then was the shit.
It was
That's
popping.
it was everybody
dude.
was on it.
Everybody.
Hey, and then Destiny 2 came out.
And then not even before Destiny 2. I think it was already kind of dying.
It was like
before Destiny 2.
Taken King.
Taken King was like their
It was like their Hail Mary
Their
that
Hail
kind of
Mary?
didn't work.
like it was okay, but then it was the one after that, the one with the hammer.
What was the one with the hammer?
I don't know, but it was whatever was after Taken King, and then that one it was alright, but it wasn't the best. And then
Yeah.
Destiny 2 came
and then
out.
Destiny 2 came out, and it was supposed to be like revamped.
It was hype, and then
yeah, it was hype
for
like
for
a mother.
and it was cool for a bit, and then it just it couldn't keep up with Destiny 1 for some reason.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in my opinion, Bungie tried to do a lot of things. They tried to change the game, and honestly, they shouldn't have changed anything. They should have just kind of like kept it the same, but refreshed it. But I mean, all in all, you know, like I'm not getting paid for Bungie, so why even give my ideas out there? You know,
That's true. That's true.
It's
Cool,
fine.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, then we switched from that, and then obviously I'm a PC gamer now.
Okay.
Mouse and keyboard all the way.
Oh damn. Okay.
Now,
He's learning.
I'm not
learning.
like Cass who got onto PC with the controller and then switched to.
Oh damn.
Okay, like okay.
I started from the start with mouse and keyboard.
Okay, bro, but who's getting beamed in Apex right now, bro?
Hey, I don't play.
Who dies with 0 damage, bro?
Hey, who plays more?
Alright.
Who plays more, you or me?
I do.
Okay, that explains it.
All right, bro, but why are you talking shit if I play more than you?
I'm just saying I started with mouse
Okay,
and
but why are you
keyboard
talking
first.
shit if I play more than you and you know I'm better than you?
And
Hey man, Eli spends his
Hey,
days
you know.
bringing us the stimmy checks. You
Hey,
gotta lay off.
I'm sorry, guys. This isn't a chat where you guys are like, you know, playing your games. You know.
This is gonna be a chat where we play our games and Eli keeps talking like that.
Y'all gonna have to get used to this.
Yeah. That's cool.
You
man.
guys can't bring anybody I know onto this podcast, or else it's gonna be like this the whole time.
Yep.
Don't worry, Eli. We'll hear more from you later.
Oh, I know you will.
Oh, I know.
Oh, he said this is not the end of Eli.
So how about you, Lena? What have you been up to this last week?
Oh my god, we haven't even gone around the freaking table.
It's one of
It's
those
just
days.
amazing, you know.
I know.
alright.
Well, I've been working. I mean, what have we been up to? I don't even know. I ate out a lot this week, and I
Too
feel
much.
gross. But you know, Pieology just makes me so happy.
Hey, food is good. Food is always good.
I know.
Food is
That
good.
is true.
It makes me very happy.
Can never go wrong with food.
Right.
Never.
I know we've had date night how many times? It's probably a problem.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
a problem.
But I mean, I haven't been up to much. Just again, as every week, work is killing me, and I just want to take my butt back to school so that I could do my nursing thing, because that's my true calling. I really believe in it. So I'm trying to get my butt back. So I'm doing my research, have some schools in mind.
Yeah.
Just, you know, have to make very serious decisions to determine what route I'm gonna take. You know.
Okay.
So yeah. How about you?
I mean, me for myself, we just came back from a camping trip. We talked about it in the last one, you know, at Kern River. After that, it's been a crazy week in the stock market. Made a good amount of money this week. Can't complain. So go SPRT. I think it kind of died. I think it kind of died down on Friday. But it was a good week. Next one to look out for is BBIG. So we're keeping our eyes out for that. Been playing a lot of Pokemon Go.
Oh, you're playing?
Bro, dude, we've all been playing.
We're like, why didn't you guys tell me?
Well, Jimmy said you weren't playing it anymore.
I have no one else to play with. I'm walking all day,
dude. Jimmy,
that's my job. I walk every day. I'm hatching eggs on a day.
And wait, sorry to cut you off.
Go ahead.
And for our podcast listeners, if I don't know if he listens to this, but fuck Jimmy.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Fuck you, Jimmy.
Sorry,
slow ass Mustang.
This is just the insider between us here.
Slow ass Mustang. Yeah, you already know he lied.
Don't forget your wallet.
We'll leave it at that. You know, eventually we'll have Jimmy on here and he can explain all these.
No, he won't. His girlfriend won't let him.
He's a flicker anyways.
Damn.
All right, but yeah.
But yeah, man. I told Jimmy that we were playing it, and he goes like, "Oh, like why are you playing it all of a sudden?" Me and Eli aren't even playing it anymore, and I'm just like, I don't care. I'm not playing it for you or Eli.
Why? How's he assume?
He said that. I just said like, okay,
bro. That's my. I'm the one that started playing before it even came out in the U.S.
True. Man, that game is fun.
It is fun.
We've been playing this like.
Where do you guys go?
Santa Monica.
Santa Monica. Oh, why don't you guys go to the Pike? Pike's cool. That's where you.
But the Pike only has like a certain amount of raids. Like
I know.
Santa Monica's popping though.
Santa Monica's popping like 100% of the time.
It's always popping.
It's popping because you can get raids so easily. Like
it's been popping from the start.
I know.
Yep.
That's why I go to Santa Monica
too.
And not as much as before. Not as much as before.
I remember when I went there a couple years back.
Yeah.
Popping with, I forgot what I caught there that was rare, but I'm like,
I think at the time when I first started playing Pokemon Go, because I stopped playing it for like 5 years. When I first started playing it, it was only Gen 1.
How long has it been since
2016?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 2016.
What?
It's
2016.
No
2016.
way.
Yeah, it's
Are
like
you guys serious?
2016.
I think they just released like.
Oh
6th gen
my
or something like that.
god!
No, 8th gen.
Where
8th
does
gen,
5 years go?
I'm telling you,
Yep.
Went by fast. I remember when I first started playing it.
Oh my god!
At the time, I had an Android, so I downloaded the APK, from Europe or whatever.
So you were a cheater.
I was a cheater.
Cheater.
Hacker. No, I mean you can't.
Cheater.
I just got it so I could play earlier.
Cheater.
It was just a day early. Relax. And
It's all good, man.
that was back when I still lived in the projects. I was in Watts, and I went out there with my buddy Marco, and we ran around the hood just playing Pokemon Go. I caught a Charmeleon out there.
Did you guys get shot at?
No.
Oh my god! You guys are lucky.
Yeah, we were lucky. And it's funny because we were walking, and we're like, oh, like me and him were walking. There was a kid, another guy in his front yard, and he was on his phone too. And it's like, hey, you guys playing Pokemon Go? And we're like, yeah. Like we're tracking down this Charmeleon, and he's like, oh, let me go with you guys. And
Nah, for real?
some random guy.
That's funny.
But yeah, I caught a Charmeleon. I think I still have him. I'll look him up
Yeah,
later.
I mean, if you play Pokemon Go and you've caught one from 2016, they have a badge on them.
Yeah. I have a bunch of those.
Yeah, and it'll say like you caught it in 2016. I think anything over a year old, it'll say it.
Every Pokemon.
No.
No,
Like,
it's only. I believe it's only when the game came out.
yeah,
Really?
like
Yeah.
yeah.
Maybe not a badge, but like. If you
No, they
open
have like
it,
a
at
little.
the very bottom,
that-
it says when you bought it and when
No.
you got it and where.
Yeah,
you
but
found it.
It's
But-
not a badge. It's kind of like a little tag
See,
on the
look.
side. Yeah, like that.
like that.
Oh,
You see it?
You see where it says day one? Day one? That's
Yeah.
That's my Charmeleon.
Wait,
Day one Charmeleon.
Damn.
I'm not kidding.
You nicknamed it Day One.
Yeah, day one. July 30th, 2016.
You gotta send us a screenshot of that, bro. That's funny.
Yeah, I mean,
July 30th, 2016 is when I caught this guy.
See, we've really been into Pokemon Go. We've been playing this
I mean,
religiously.
I've been into Pokemon
My
forever.
Snorlax.
We've been playing this religiously, like.
Oh, and you guys didn't hit me up.
Hey,
So
Oh, see,
Blame
look,
Jimmy.
look, right here. See, look, I have one of those too.
Yeah,
It has
yeah.
a little tag on the side.
Mhm.
yeah. So Lena, besides
Oh.
Pokemon Go, what else?
Bottom line, blame
I
Jimmy.
think
Sorry,
you were
Golden.
going. It was your turn.
Yeah, you were talking about stocks. And
Oh, that's
Pokemon Go.
right. Sorry, I apologize for that.
He's drunk.
No, I'm not.
Somebody cut him off.
We haven't even gotten to the main course.
I know,
Oh my
right? The main
God.
course is coming up. But yeah, besides Pokemon Go, it's just been stocks and Pokemon Go. You know, what I try to do, there's a little psychology behind stocks, and if you're always keeping an eye on it, like, it makes you make stupid decisions. So Pokemon Go serves as the distraction between when I buy a stock or when I'm keeping an eye on it. I'll play it and then I'll go back to look at it, you know, or I'll watch a YouTuber that I watch for these things. And I mean, other than that, I mean, it's been a fun week. You know, we're recording a podcast today, so you know, we'll see where this goes. We still have Sunday to go. This is Saturday, so we'll see. I'll update you guys next week when we get there. But yeah, let's get to the pick, Cass.
Okay, so my pick today was a pick from a brewery called 10 Mile Brewing. So I kind of went there in person, and I kind of asked the girl that was working there.
Bartender?
No, it's not really a bartender, dude. Oh. It's kind of like a literal brewery, so like they have like a front counter.
So like a cashier?
Back. No. Like it's like a legit brewery, so like they have the front counter and everything.
Yeah.
And in the back you can see like the big giant brewing tanks.
Yeah.
I took a picture of it for anybody. You'll probably post it on the Instagram.
Instagram and probably the Discord as well.
Yeah. So I went in and you know, I kind of asked the questions we normally would ask. You know what?
Yeah.
I'm here to buy beer. What do you guys recommend, or what kind of beer represents what you're brewing, like, you know, your general brewing, you know, just what beer represents basically what you guys are brewing.
Okay.
So she kind of put me in the right direction, and she was giving me like these really helpful details about like the beer and everything. She was telling me, you know, like if you want something like this, you should get this one, or, you know, basically whatever they had on tap during this season, because I know they change like taps during season. So they change different kinds of beer and different kinds of brewing. So I was kind of convinced with the trail marker.
Okay.
And this beer kind of like, it has for those people that don't know, a trail marker is kind of like something from camping.
Okay.
You know, it's something you use for camping. I don't know what exactly it's used for, but I know it kind of just like in the name itself kind of gives it away. It's a trail marker. I know there's also something called a trail blazer.
So would it be something like to guide you?
Yeah, something sort.
So what you're trying to say is that this beer is like a guide.
No, what I'm trying to say is like that the 10 Mile Brewing is kind of centered around nature. You know, I will get to it later on, but you know, like, the details are kind of like in the name.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the beer I picked this week is called Trail Marker.
Okay.
It's from 10 Mile Brewing, as previously mentioned.
Yeah.
And it is a IPA.
Oh no!
Yeah,
we're going back to IPAs.
We're going back to IPAs,
that was real
guys.
Fast.
That was something I realized after the fact. So I had gone to the brewery. I had asked the girl that was working there, you know, what kind of beer she would recommend. Of course I didn't tell her like we were doing a podcast or anything, because we're obviously not that big or whatever, you know. Hopefully in the future it don't matter. But anyways, yeah, so I just told her, you know, like what kind of beer fully represents the kind of beers you guys brew, and she kind of pointed me to this one. Well, this was one of the options. So I ended up getting the Trail Marker, and the funny thing about 10 Mile Brewing is that all the beers they have on tap you can buy. Right?
Okay.
Nothing strange there, right? Thing is, you can only buy a quart of it.
For any of the beers?
Any of the beers they have on tap, except one, which I forgot the name of, you can buy, so you can buy all of them, but you have to buy them in a quart. And I mean, the beautiful thing about it is that you can mix and match. So if you want a beer of, you know, of the Trail Marker, and then you want a different beer, I believe they call it the Citrullennial.
Okay.
Actually, you know what? I think that was the name of the only 4-pack that they had. The Citrullennial.
Is that like their popular beer?
It's the one that they had on display.
Okay.
So I'm assuming it's like their popular beer.
Okay.
But when you walk in, like that's the only 4-pack they had on display in like the little fridges.
Yeah.
That was the only one they had. But yeah, so like if you want any other kind of beer that they have on tap, you have to buy a quart of it.
And for Americans, do you want to say how many ounces that is?
That's 32 ounces.
Exactly.
That's a lot.
And I find that hilarious because I'm over here trying to buy beer for our podcast. You know, a beer that we can drink at an imaginable thing, like at a manageable quantity. And they come out here with these quart-sized beers.
Gigantic.
Yeah, and then she was like, yeah, like, you know, like if you want to buy or, you know, we have all the, like, she literally told me we have all the beers on tap you can take home with you. And I'm just like, okay. He's like, yeah, but you have to buy them in a 3-pack and you have to buy them at a quart. And I was just like, whoa.
I think
a quart?
I think they're purposely trying to get us drunk.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fine, dude. Like, I'm with it.
We're totally okay with that.
I mean, that's the whole point of this, you know?
I mean, we're not gonna drink it.
Right.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so I'm just like, okay, but, you know, at the time when I was there, I was just like, damn, like, a quart's a lot. And yeah, man, like, when I ordered the beer, she comes out with, like, a little 3-pack, you know, the little thing that holds them together. Yeah, she comes out with that, and they're just huge, man. They're huge. And I'm just like, oh my
and
God.
as a size reference, we'll have a picture of us holding one of the cans and just seeing how
we'll put it next to the Sailor Jerry's bottle that we take shots of.
Or next to just a basic, you know, beer can.
Basic beer can
we could do that
for
too.
reference.
Yeah, just for reference, because you can see these things are huge. You know, they're not your normal, you know, tall cans. You know,
they're not even a tall can, dude. They're a fat boy. If you call a tall can a tall boy, these things are fat boys. Cause oh my God, the size on these things.
That's what she said.
Oh my God.
That's an office reference, guys. All right, guys. Well, I guess it's time to do the crackening here. So let's get there. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and start with our special guest, Eli.
Woo.
All right,
I'll let you do the honors, Eli. Just
go
because
ahead.
you're a special guest.
Go ahead and crack it open.
Yeah. Come on. Oh my. Okay.
All right. What about you, Lena? All right, let's go ahead and do this. And those of you wondering why Cass isn't opening one, he shared it with Eli, so.
I mean, these are gigantic.
Yeah, these things are huge. I mean, I can drink one by myself, but damn, these things are huge.
I can't even hold it properly with one hand.
I know, these things.
I'm telling you, man, like, if you call tall cans tall boys, this is a fat boy.
Yeah, it is.
All
right.
A fat boy.
Let's start with the pouring.
You kind of messed that one up, Eli. You gotta tilt the can. You gotta tilt the cup.
I didn't tilt it enough. I know.
Yeah, I think we all messed up a little bit.
You guys all messed up? Nah, Lena got it. I don't know about that one.
I think the audience should know I'm not a heavy beer drinker.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I mean, that was
so Eli,
to make clear in the beginning.
You want to share what's your poison?
Yeah, what's your poison, Eli?
dark liquor.
Like what?
Like what?
What specifically?
Hennessy.
Oh damn! Okay, you like that dark stuff.
I like that dark stuff.
And what's the phrase?
Anything is possible, you guys.
Ooh,
damn!
That's the slogan.
That's a
the
slogan
motto
right there. Anything is possible.
Shout out to my boy Adrian.
Hey,
for sure.
That's my Henny brother.
Henny brother. Damn, are those real terms?
With us, it is.
Anything is real in Eli's eyes.
That's the blood bond right there.
That's the Henny bond.
Oh man,
I got a lot of
Jesus
foam on top.
So let's go ahead and give a taste of these beers, and then give ourselves a little bit of time to review it.
Well, hold on. Before we taste it, this is the Trail Marker, an IPA, ABV of 6.75.
Just a little bit sour.
Yep. Oh, ABV.
Oh, sorry, ABV. Sorry.
Alcohol by volume.
Yeah. What about the IBU?
I have no idea. This was not on their website. Anyways, a little history behind it. Our take on the classic West Coast IPA includes Amarillo and Centennial hops, giving this beer its firm bitterness, so we know it's bitter. Then dry hop with a generous dose of citra hops for a strong citrus aroma.
All right.
Citrusy.
So let's see if this drink is a little bit citrusy. So let's give it a taste, guys, and then we'll go from there. Okay.
Cheers.
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 Cheers. Even though I just drank from it.
Definitely citrusy.
Definitely sour.
Did you guys smell it?
Yes.
Yeah.
It smells very citrusy.
Yeah.
Very citrusy. So the description does not lie.
Definitely on the very high IPA side.
What do you mean by
IPA?
high IPA?
Yeah.
Very set sour taste. It's not hazy though. It's just.
It's not as hazy as you would think it'd be.
Yeah.
Jesus, 32 ounces, guys.
Man, I mean, there has to be a reason why they sell them in quarts as opposed to just tall cans.
I don't know. I think I just want to say this is the way they can them. Just
I wonder
in
if they're just trying to get you to that point where you're in this altered state and you can access different places in your brain, because you want to read what's on the side of the can.
Kind of.
It kind of hits something on me.
Well, the side of the can, has your basic warnings, government warning, according Surgeon General, blah blah blah, pregnant people don't drink.
I think she means the other side.
No, yeah, I know.
Oh.
I'm getting to it.
Sorry.
It also has their at 10 Mile Brewing, obviously.
Little shout out there.
Has their logo on it. Has the quantity of beer that comes in this fat boy, as I like to call him.
Fat boy.
And then on the other side, it has the wilderness holds answers to question man has not yet learned to ask. Nancy Newhall. Hashtag 10 Mile in the Wild.
That's pretty catchy.
That is pretty catchy.
What do you guys think they mean by that, though?
You know what's funny? There's also another quote that I'm going to ask you the same question on. And you guys let me know. And it kind of stumped me, to be honest.
Okay.
And even right now, like I was doing the research on it last night. Even to right now, I have no idea what it means, or not a certain idea of what it means.
All right.
But, I'm going to ask you guys that later. But like Flames Kids just said, what do you guys think the wilderness holds answers to question man has not yet learned to ask? What do you think that means?
I mean, it's also how they say we still have only discovered just a very small portion of the sea. There's so much that we don't know and understand. And we try to, I feel like as human beings, we try to say we know everything when we don't. We're just living on this earth and we're one with it. We don't own it. Even though everybody wants to think we run things and we own things, we're part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Eli?
What do you think it means, Eli?
I think it means the way I like to interpret it is, the wilderness is, it's just out there. You got the animals, you got the trees, you got plants, you got these living things that's not man-made. It was just there before us, and it'll be there after us. Yeah. And I think what it's trying to tell us is, sometimes you just have to get away from all of this. Yeah. All this the city life, and if you go out there, you get to actually be one with nature, with the, I guess, the quietness of just being out there, and you get to reflect on things.
Of course.
And it'll help you, I guess. Say you're going through something, it might make you see things in a different way, give you the answers that you can't find while being out here and the city, the man-made stuff that's not natural.
Very distracted life.
Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of on the same page as you, but kind of different. The wilderness holds answers to questions man has not yet learned to ask. I think that what that means, it's looking towards the future. It's looking like, we've only achieved so much, so far. We don't know everything. It's like Lina was saying, we've only discovered a certain percentage of the ocean. We don't know what's left of the ocean. We don't know everything that's here on land. As much as we like to be descriptive, and we have like maps and stuff, there's still some things, some mysteries, here on certain places that we have yet to dared to even start looking into. Maybe it's because we're scared, maybe it's because the government won't let us. Whatever the case may be, there's still a lot of mysteries here, and I think that's what it means.
Aliens exist, baby.
Yes, Tom DeLonge.
Yes, sir.
Definitely.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, I think that's what it means. I just think that we haven't reached the point yet where we have had to ask those questions yet. We're eventually gonna get there, and we'll ask those questions when we get there. But as of now, I don't think we're there yet.
No, but that's also one part of it. But Eli is also right. After he said what I said, it makes sense.
Of course.
As I mentioned in the last podcast, I've been going camping for many, many years, and I love it. It's a very big difference than being in the city where you could just hear constant cars passing by. There's traffic everywhere. It's like a very stressful environment. And when you go out there, it allows you to kind of clear your mind a little bit more, so you can actually think things through a little more clearly. And then there's also just so much beauty out there that you kind of get some answers. When you're kind of just going through something, you see things around you and it kind of makes sense to you, even though you're with someone and it doesn't make sense to them. So you can just kind of find answers for yourself, and while you just escape. And I don't know. Have you ever experienced that, Eli? Have you been camping before, or out in the wilderness somewhere beautiful?
No, not really. I haven't really been camping. I went camping once, I guess, when I was in the 5th grade. But it was a school trip.
Okay.
So I don't really count that as camping.
He used to live in Bakersfield.
Yeah, I used to live in Bakersfield.
That's about the same thing. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
They took us camping, but other than that, that's one reason I would like to go camping, because I want to get away from this. Like I would like to experience just being away from the city, all the noise, all the lights, just with nature. And then like it says right there, like it holds answers to questions a person hasn't asked yet. And like I feel like if you go out there, you might think of something you haven't asked yourself, since you're just quiet, you're just with your own thoughts. You get to analyze things like at a softer, slower pace than when you're here, because you're here and you're busy focusing on this, focusing on that, and then you get out there and it's just you in the quiet, and you get to actually analyze your thoughts, analyze this, analyze that, and then you could come out with different questions and ask yourself those, and then you might find them right there in the moment. You might not, but at least you'll have that in the back of your head, like, okay, I need to find the answer to this question. Why is it this? Why is it that?
That's true.
So.
Hey man, that's a very good point. I mean, I didn't think of it that way, but you're right. We just came back from a camping trip over the weekend, and I mean, we were disconnected from everything. From the internet, we were disconnected from our
Pokemon Go.
From our personal lives.
Yeah, the only thing we had was music. I mean, it was your guys' first time. What did you feel about the quietness and what was going on? I know we kind of had that distraction of the fire, but
I mean, it was cool. I mean, coming from somebody who has never camped in his life before at 28, it was something new. We had tried camping back in Laughlin, but that's different. That's not the same.
Yeah, that's the desert. It's not the same.
This was a little bit different. Just being able to wake up and just come out to nature and just chill, basically. And then you have a river right there down the road from you, so just all of that, it made me feel good about myself. It made me feel in one with nature. It made me feel just relaxed. It made me feel something that normally here in the city I don't really get to feel. I'm just so lost in doing this, doing that, doing catching up with this, catching up with that, that you kind of forget to like just wind down and just like relax a little bit, you know? Yeah. But yeah. So, Cass, how did you get to this brewery? What made you want to pick this beer?
So somebody that I used to work with, she always was talking about 10 Mile Brewing, and from what I know, she was I believe she was living with her boyfriend at the time, or I think they're still together. But anyways, she was living with somebody that lived here in Long Beach, so like she would always tell me, she would always mention 10 Mile Brewing. And I'm just like, 10 Mile, like, where is that? She goes like, oh, like, like she would give me the cross streets. I'm like, dude, I live like 5 minutes away from there. And she was like, oh, like, you should go there, like, it's really cool. And I'm just like, all right, for sure. And this is prior to the pandemic, by the way. And yeah, so when we started doing this whole thing, like, I kind of started focusing more on trying to get the breweries that were around us first, rather than going to like beer place where you can buy beers, liquor stores, et cetera, and just picking like some random beer. So instead of doing that, I kind of wanted to focus on what was around our area first before we started expanding out into breweries that were like in different states, or stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, like one day when I was driving, I kind of passed by the cross streets where she told me. Like, I had never visited 10 Mile prior to me going to buy the beer. But yeah, like, I was driving, and then I saw the sign that said 10 Mile Brewing, and I was just like, oh my god, like, it's right there. It's like literally 5 minutes away from my house. So I ended up going there, or I ended up like deciding, like, you know what, that's gonna be my pick. And yeah, I ended up going there, and then pretty nice. It's a cool little spot to go and hang. Nice brewery. It's not that it's not big like Golden Road, I would say, but it's a nice spot to go and just grab a beer with a friend, or kill some time. But yeah, like, I just walked in. People were very friendly. They kind of helped me, point me in the right direction of what beer I wanted to buy. But yeah, I mean, all in all, 10 Mile, the reason I picked it was because she had mentioned it and that it was around my house. So why not, right?
Yeah, I mean, something else that we looked up right now. I guess they were the first brewery to open up in Signal Hill. And I mean, Signal Hill is not that big to begin with. So, I mean, for them to be the first brewery, that's amazing, Yeah. And, I mean, I haven't personally visited that place. I will now that I know about it. But so far, I mean, the beer tastes great.
The beer is pretty good, man. You know, like, we kind of, like, skipped over what the beer tastes like and all that stuff, to be honest.
We rushed it.
Yeah.
A little bit. I mean, coming from a guy that doesn't really drink beer like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let me tell you guys, it's pretty good. I mean, like I said, I'm not a big beer drinker, but it's smooth. It's good.
Okay.
Surprised there's no IBU on it, just because it does have that sour taste.
To be honest, it does have the sour taste, but it's really not that bitter. Well, to me at least.
It probably, the IBU probably doesn't apply to this specific beer. IBU doesn't always apply to beers. It's just, depending on how sour it is and if, they're rated that way. But the IBU probably doesn't apply to this one. But yeah, overall, I mean, the beer is pretty great.
Yeah, it's not that bad.
Yeah, it has like your citrusy notes. I don't know, man. To me, it kind of tastes a little like a pine tree, I guess. Not necessarily like like. Let me
Wait,
go
the can?
No.
Oh,
like the beer.
It tastes like a pine tree.
Yeah, not necessarily like let me go chew on the bark of a pine tree, but it has like kind of like hints flavor of it. Yeah, it has kind of like not an earthy flavor, but like a little pine tree kind of flavor, I guess.
Actually, I kind of see what you're saying. You know how you mentioned for the mystery flavor how it was kind of like a lollipop with that taste.
Yeah.
I feel like with the smell it's pretty strong, but it has that end flavor where it's no big aftertaste. It just hits you like a strong smell, like a pine, and then it's gone. It's just smooth.
So what you're trying to say is that you're eating pine needles.
No.
What the hell?
No one said that.
Who said that?
Needles.
Why? What?
No pine needles. I'm sorry.
He's probably way into his fort.
I think that
he's drunk.
that trail marker kind of slapped him in the face.
The trail marker is pretty good.
That comment was a trail marker. We see where you are now.
It's not bad.
Hey. Don't say it.
Well, their website has a lot of cool information. They have a lot of events at their place. Is it a big place? We've never been there.
Yeah. Well, I believe from what I read, it was either 28 or 3,800 square feet. It was. Well, that's their what do you call it? Their
like their home or
no. It's a specific room. The tap room. The tap room. There you go. That's what it was called. Or the brew room.
Brewery room.
The
brew room.
Yeah, well, one of those two places. It's how you call it? It's 3,800 square feet of space. You know, I know I did my research on this like last night, but I kind of just like forgot about it. But yeah, the brew room kind of it's basically like a space. It's kind of like how I mentioned one of the other prior damn it, what was their name again? The first pick that I did.
Pariah Brewing Company?
No, that was my pick.
No, that was her pick.
Golden.
No, not Golden.
No.
Golden Rule was my pick.
Darn it, I forgot the name of it already.
Really?
Sheesh.
Yeah. It was the brew.
It's like on the tip of my tongue.
It's the one I couldn't pronounce.
No, the
Brew Eye. Yeah.
West?
The brewery.
Yeah.
Brewery.
Yeah.
I couldn't pronounce it, so I can't say it.
So it's kind of like Brewery West, where it's kind of like a tap, not a tap room, it's like a brew room, and you can, it's kind of, from what I saw, it's kind of like a giant room where they have like a bunch of like, it's a space, you know, where you can go and enjoy a beer. It has like the whole thing with 10 Mile Brewing is like they have they're kind of like connected to nature.
Okay.
Because the name 10 Mile actually comes from one of like the places in it's called Kings Canyon, I believe.
And where's that at?
That's it's King Canyon's National Park region of the Sierra Nevadas.
So Nevada.
No, it's in California.
Wait, I heard Nevada.
The Sierra Nevadas in California.
Sorry, I heard Nevada and I thought Nevada.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I can see how anybody would have that, you know, kind of like mixed up. But yeah, so that's where their name comes from. You know, it was founded by a father and son duo, Dan and Jesse Sundstrom. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but
you probably butchered it, but it's
I
okay.
apologize if I butchered it. Yeah, so they're basically like the main brewers there, or the brewmasters. So I guess they handle all the brewing in their company.
Okay.
But it's not just them, you know, like the whole
crew.
The whole crew is basically one, like the family. It's family owned.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's one, you know, big family. They own a cabin out in Kings Canyon National Park in that region.
Yeah.
So they own a cabin there, and from what their website says, like they've been vacationing there for generations. So I'm assuming it's maybe not hundreds of years, but you know, close to that, you know, number.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's basically like the whole 10 Mile Brewing. It's kind of like centered around family, you know. Seeing how the father and son are like, you know, brewmasters, and you know they're the main brewers, and it's family owned. So I'm assuming just like, you know, family works there. Yeah, so it's really oriented around family, and I find that pretty cool, you know, because not a lot of places do that anymore. Right. Not that they outsource, but they grab, like, you know, they try to hire people, you know, outside of it.
Well, yeah, sometimes they hire people and they create a family at work, you know?
Yeah, of course.
But this is blood.
Yeah. Yeah, and like I said, like as I've stated before in prior podcasts, you can find all this information on their website. This is like pulled directly from their website. Right. So if I get anything wrong, I apologize.
Yeah, they even have a doggo. His name
That's
is Barley.
true. Barley. I wonder where they named him from.
Hops and barley.
Exactly.
It's what beer is made out of. Did you see the doggo at the place?
I did not see the doggo at the place. I know.
I see his picture and he just looks so.
He looks
adorable.
relaxed.
He's
Yeah.
so cute.
Honestly, he's just relaxed.
What kind of dog is he?
He looks like a husky.
No, he
breed.
looks like
Husky, though.
a shepherd.
Yeah, it's kind of. It looks like a cross
mixture.
between a
Yeah.
husky and
Yeah.
a shepherd. I'm not 100% sure. They don't really give a lot of information.
Yeah, they
Half
don't really
wolf
say
dog?
what he is.
Those half wolf, half actual dog.
Yeah.
Hybrids.
And for those that don't know, Eli is a dog enthusiast,
He owns many dogs.
Lover. Dog.
dog lover.
Please, Eli, tell us about Queen Chloe.
Well, I don't have Queen Chloe. I have King Maverick.
Damn, oh damn,
Wait,
King
what happened to
Maverick.
Queen Chloe?
She's not with me.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh
you know
my
this.
god, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
We have King
Oh.
Chloe. King Chloe.
King Chloe.
King
So-
Maverick.
So
Dude.
how's Maverick?
He's cool.
What kind of dog is he?
He's a Doberman.
Ooh.
Oh.
He's a hellhound.
He's a hellhound.
Oh my
Damn,
God.
does it like blood?
No, he's low. No, he's the toughest Doberman you'll ever see.
He's a big
No,
baby.
he's not. Eli.
He's
Every,
a big baby.
They don't
every
need-
time I go
They
to your
don't
house,
need to know that, okay? They need to know.
he begs
They-
you to
they-
carry him.
They just gotta know he's a tough dog.
I
right?
can't picture Eli carrying him.
Oh, I've
Oh, I
seen
can
it.
carry him.
I've seen it. He
He
can
likes
carry
being
him.
carried.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a big baby. It's my big baby.
That's good, man.
I'm so impressed on how trained you have him. It's insane.
Yeah, I could do better, but yeah, he listens. He listens.
That doesn't sound too convincing.
No, he listens. It's just I need
It's
to do
because
better.
that's his
Yeah,
baby.
yeah,
He
I-
could do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
Not anything he wants, but you know. That's
So you say.
what I say. At least when I'm around, he can't do whatever he wants.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, but going back to 10 Mile, you know, like it's pretty good.
I had a
It's
question.
pretty cool.
I-
Yeah.
You said earlier they had options besides, they had more than just this
Yeah.
one. What made you choose this specific one? What
Um,
about this one?
Yeah, so like I said before, I kind of just went in there and I kind of asked like the girl that helped me out, like, you know, what kind of beer represents the kind of beer you guys brew, you know, like something that captures everything in just one, because, you know, like a bunch of breweries trying to have like different takes on different kinds of beers. So so I asked her, she's like, those specific words, and you know, what beer represents what you guys brew and stuff like that. And she gave me like 3 different kinds. I can't remember the exact names, but one of them was the trail marker, the one we're drinking right now. And I don't know, for some reason, like I just it was out of sheer randomness, to be honest, because she gave me options, but it was just sheer randomness that I picked the trail marker. And then seeing as how the 10 Mile is kind of like family oriented and kind of like, you know, centered around nature, this beer kind of like represents that, you know, like
Okay,
you taste it, you kind of, like I said before, you kind of taste like pine trees, I guess.
Yeah.
You taste pine trees, you know, it's kind of like that naturey taste to it. And even when you smell it, you smell like citrusy.
Mhm, yeah.
But you also kind of like it's that
fresh.
fresh smell,
Yeah.
you know.
Yes, yes,
Exactly.
fresh.
Exactly.
Fresh, that's
Yeah,
the word.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean that's basically what it was. Honest, like to answer your question, it was sheer randomness.
Okay.
But at the same time, she kind of pointed me in the right direction, you know.
Okay.
So it's pretty cool that, you know, the workers there are kind of like knowledgeable about what they do. And sadly, I didn't get the girl's name, but you know, like she didn't have a name tag or anything. But yeah, I mean, she was really helpful, and I really appreciate that, because I didn't know what to get. It was my first time there.
Right.
So she kind of helped me and pointed me in the right direction.
Yeah, and for those of you that don't know and are local here in Long Beach, we have places called Steelcraft. We have one here in Long Beach, one here in Bellflower, and I believe there's a third one somewhere else. The one in Bellflower hosts these beers for you to be able to buy.
Yep. Since 2019, it says.
So you can go into Steelcraft, you know, eat your food from, you know, your spot that's there, and you can go to the, I guess Well, the one here in Long Beach is a little bit different. I don't know if it's the same.
It's more small.
It's
city.
smaller.
Well, I don't know if it's the same as the other ones though, where you can like there's only one specific spot where you can buy beer, you know, and the rest of them are just food spots.
No, in the one in Bellflower, there's different spots you can buy beer at.
Well, you know, you can find 10 Mile Brewing there, you know, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
You know, they're helping out local businesses, you know.
Yeah, we've only been to the Long Beach one, and they're more towards Smog City, which we got to review. We really got to touch on that one.
Yeah, Smog City is actually a good one, and we'll probably touch on that sometime in the next few episodes.
If you guys don't get to it, I'll eventually get to it.
We'll see. We'll just get to it in general. But yeah, like those are great places to go. You can grab some food from various different places. If you go with other people, you guys don't all have to order from the same place. There's different types of foods, and then you can just grab a brew and just have a seat and enjoy
Definitely.
it. Yeah.
Cool, guys. So, any other words on the beer itself?
It's pretty good. That's all I gotta say.
Refreshing.
Yeah,
Like I said,
it's-
coming from a person who doesn't really drink beer like that, or just it's good.
Yeah,
Good.
this is a.
And the
I know Cass
aftertaste
already
is
said it.
not bad, you know.
It's a 6.75, IPA, but it's not very heavy. At least to me, it's not very heavy. It's really refreshing.
Okay, and I have a question.
Go for it.
You know, like I said, I'm not an avid beer drinker. So you know, we got beers, and then you guys are calling this an IPA. What is IPA? Like, what's that?
So, an IPA it's short for India Pale Ale.
Okay.
So it's a style of brewing different than like, you know,
A stout.
a lager.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
Stout or
Modelos
lager.
are like, you know, lagers.
Oh, okay.
They're lighter. They're not as strong.
Yeah, and then you have
Lagers
IPAs.
are lighter.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely,
okay.
definitely. And then you have IPAs, which are India Pale Ales. You have any IPAs, which are New England India Pale Ales.
Yeah. You know the
It's
voodoo's
on
that
Nebraska?
you bought us?
No.
Yeah.
Those are IPAs too.
Yeah,
They're more IPAs tend to be, at least in my experience, more on the stronger side.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I feel like those drinking IPAs, IPAs are an acquired taste. So
Yeah.
I don't think that anybody that doesn't drink them and then starts drinking them, they'll be like, oh, this is nasty. Yeah, exactly.
Right away.
Yeah, they're not
And
gonna
I
like 'em.
don't judge people for saying like it's not their thing. It is an acquired taste. I
Yeah,
understand
definitely.
if you want to start small, maybe with an ultra, then maybe Modelo.
Yeah,
and work your way up.
I mean,
Yeah.
it just depends on people's palates, you know.
Yeah.
Some people prefer to drink sweet stuff.
Yeah.
So they'll go to Reds. They'll go to, what's the other one?
Angry Orchard.
Angry Orchard. Yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
My
You
mom
know,
loves those.
Yeah, some people like drinking heavy. So, you know, they'll go stouts. They'll go, you know, anything dark. And that's Cass right there.
Yeah.
Me, I prefer IPAs, you know. I don't mind trying new IPAs and, you know, giving them a taste. There's some people who stick to lagers, you know, they'll stick to the light stuff.
It's whatever your
You know,
taste buds
and yeah,
want.
exactly. It's exactly whatever you feel comfortable drinking, you know,
Yeah.
you're going to drink.
I mean,
And
that's the beauty about beer, man. It's not just one specific taste. You know, there's just hundreds upon thousands of tastes out there. You know,
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean,
they're
and
all
it-
different.
And then there's people who don't even drink beer at all, and they just stick to alcohol.
Like
Yeah.
You know.
Kind of like you. You like your Henny, because you know anything is possible. And you're not a big beer drinker, but you know you're giving it a try, and I'm
it's
glad you
actually
like
good.
it.
It's
Yeah.
actually good.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, but yeah, any other words on this beer?
Yes.
Because honestly, it's been really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
good.
been really
It's
smooth,
good.
actually.
Mhm.
Yeah, definitely.
The
And I-
can says, "Please recycle me," and then it has a picture of like the little what do you call this? Like the little tab you use to open the beer.
Yes.
I don't know what it's called, but
Tab.
I
Oh,
guess
that's
a
a-
tab.
Yeah.
And then it has like the little picture of the cutouts and how you can make it into a fish hook.
Oh, that's interesting.
That's pretty cool.
That's cool.
Yeah,
Reduce,
dude.
reuse, recycle, people.
Pretty
Hey,
much.
definitely. I mean, I'm glad that they're thinking about the future of it.
Free fish hook right there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, pretty much, man. And it's pretty cool. And like I said, like this company's like really centered around nature.
Yeah.
So it's like fishing.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me at that point, you know.
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty cool, man. Honestly.
Cool, guys.
Any last thoughts?
I
10 Mile
enjoyed
Bre-
it.
10 Mile Brewing.
It
Go
was
check
good.
it. Go check it out. You know,
Definitely.
very nature friendly, very family friendly.
And I mean, I do want to give them a little shout out because as I posted about that we were going to talk about this specific beer, they did like our story on Instagram. So I do want to give them a little shout out. And definitely go ahead and follow them on Instagram at 10 Mile Brewing. You know,
check out their website for their events. They're always having food and beers, and just go follow them and check them out. Maybe hopefully you can stop by and support them.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you to the lady that helped me. She was really cool. She was really patient. And apparently she's an Aquabats fan because I was wearing my Aquabats shirts. She was like, nice shirt.
We both wore Aquabats that day.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, and she was like, oh, nice shirt. And I was like, thank you. So shout outs to her.
Awesome. What about you, Eli? Any final words?
This was pretty cool. I mean, like I said, not really a beer drinker, so this was
you're going to have to finish it.
Yeah, you're going to have to finish it.
Look,
he's almost there. He's almost there.
So, this has been pretty fun. The drink's been pretty amazing for someone who doesn't drink beer, especially IPA, like you guys said.
Yeah.
It's more of a stronger, I guess, version of regular beer. So for me, it's pretty good, and I'm actually drinking it without any problems. So
really,
yeah. So it's pretty good.
Cool, man. Yeah. And as a I guess a little niche to us. Would you mind coming back on the podcast and doing this again?
Oh, I would definitely come back.
Awesome, guys. Awesome.
Maybe we let him pick one.
I know. Ooh. Hey, man, you never know.
Don't leave that to me because.
Celebrity. What do you call it in beer pong?
Celebrity
shot.
Yeah. Hey, you never know, man. You never know. We're always trying new things here.
Do my research.
But here's the thing, dude. And it's like we don't care what you pick as long as you pick it.
It's out of pure randomness.
That's the whole point of it, man.
All these opinions are we're not trying to please anybody. They're true thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, this is what we drink as we're drinking it. So
absolutely.
You're catching our real thoughts. We're not trying to
impress the brewery.
Yeah, we're not trying to
amazing. But so far we've
been exactly.
It's like stated before, we're not getting paid for any of this, man. This is legitimately our
100%
our raw thoughts about the brewing company, the beer, what we saw, what we looked into.
Definitely. And most of the time our research is not going to be complete. It's not going to have everything, all the details.
Yeah.
And that just comes with the podcast. Sometimes we get carried away in other topics, as we're talking about the beer. And we're not gonna apologize for that. It's just stuff that's gonna come up.
I mean, as many things do is like you talk about something. You want to keep a topic on something, but it evolves into something different.
Yeah, definitely.
We can't control that.
We're not gonna apologize for that, but we're definitely gonna always
try to make it I guess a main focus to let you guys know what
there you go
about the beer and so at least you guys have an idea. Maybe you guys like what we're saying about it. You guys could try it out yourselves.
Definitely. I mean,
it'll be your favorite beer.
Yeah, and we're always gonna recommend it to our customers. We're always gonna recommend it to our listeners. Definitely give them a shot. Try it out. If you're local here in California and you're here in SoCal and you're here close to Long Beach or at least drivable distance, definitely give them a shot. Have a few drinks. Enjoy them. And bring them some support. If you're not local, if you're not into the area, at least give them some support on social media. That's why we give out the handles, because we want them to get more support and at least more exposure, help them grow.
Yeah.
So that's what we're here for.
And a lot of the ones that we've covered are able to deliver the beer to your door. So even if you're not local, you can still probably access it most likely if you're in California. But if you're outside of California, it might be limited. But
might be a little tough.
Yeah, it might be a little more tougher, but we're still hoping that you give it a try. If you're ever in LA or Long Beach, stop by and we're giving our honest thoughts. We're trying to explain and describe what we're tasting every time so that you can get a better idea of what it is, so that in case it is something that is to your liking, you can give it a try.
All right, so also on their website, they kind of had this quote, and I kind of wanted to ask you guys about it and what you guys thought about it.
Okay.
So the quote says, "The sun looks down on nothing half so good as household laughing together over a meal or two friends talking over a pint of beer. There's more to it, but that's basically the gist of it. They just got the pint of beer part."
Okay, so it says, "The sun looks down on nothing half so good as a household laughing together over a meal, or two friends talking over a pint of beer.
Yep.
Huh.
What do you guys think it means? Yeah, of course.
I'm more of a visual person.
It's the last line on there, by the way.
Oh, it's.
What do you guys think it means? Because literally, like as I was doing this research last night, I fell into a rabbit hole because honestly, I couldn't decipher what it meant. You can look it up on Google. You can do everything else. All Google is gonna do is give you the exact quotation that it comes from.
Well, here's the thing.
Yeah.
When you're looking up quotes, you gotta look up the person.
It's a C.S. Lewis, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you have to look him up, and you have to know what he was about.
See, that's the thing, though. If you look up the quote, it links you to a book that he
quote.
wrote.
Not the quote.
Yeah.
You have to look him up.
No, if you look up the quote, it links you to a book he wrote about politics.
I know. But what I'm trying to say is that you're not looking up the quote. You're looking up the person. And you're seeing what that guy did, what he was about.
He was about politics.
No.
Apparently.
No. He was a British writer and a lay theologian. So it's not politics.
Okay. Enlighten me, sir, because I did not fall into this knowledge.
He was just an academic person.
That wrote about politics.
Who said anything about politics, though?
He did. What do you mean? Who said anything? Well, he did.
Well,
he literally wrote an entire book about politics. If you're asking me who said anything about politics, C.S. Lewis did.
Well, I'm looking into him right now, so please excuse my ignorance and my.
No, I'm not like bashing you or anything. I'm just saying, like, you're asking me like who said anything about politics. Well, he did in an entire book.
That's why ignorance is bliss. We don't know, so.
We don't know. We don't know unless we're happy.
Oh.
Right? Is that how it goes?
Okay, let me see.
Unless we're happy, okay, we don't know.
You brought up the quote. So what did it mean to you when you first read it?
Well, that's the thing. Like, I know what it means to me. I want to know what it means to you guys before I give my input, because my input taints your guys' input.
That's true.
I think...
Like, it doesn't have to be anything deep. It doesn't have to be anything that you thought about for 300 years. Off the top of your head, what do you guys think it means? Like, I'm not bashing you guys. I'm not judging you guys. What do you guys feel it means to you? Because I did extensive research on this, and even then, I don't think I know what it means.
I think it just means that it's like the same... It's the same whatever way you look at it.
Yeah, like
it gave two comparisons. It said household, or it said two friends over talking.
Yeah.
Talking over, whatever. I think it's the same all the way around. I think it's like the.
Did you look at the entire quote though? By the way.
No, I just.
Because there's a full quote. That's just half of it. There's an entire quote on.
Then I will have to look at the entire quote before I can make a.
You didn't give us the full quote.
I know.
No, that's what I'm saying. But like I said, this quote is on their website, and it only stops there. But there's an entire quote to it. I failed to mention it. I admit that. But there's an entire thing to it.
So the full quote goes something like this: "The sun looks down on nothing half so good as a household laughing together over a meal, or two friends talking over a pint of beer, or a man alone reading a book that interests him." C.S. Lewis, The Weight of Glory. I mean, after reading the full quote, it doesn't really change much of what I had originally thought. I think that it's the same whatever way you look at it,
Which is?
I mean, the way he says it, the sun looks down.
Well, it's not the way he says it. It's what it means to you.
Yeah, I think it's the same, whatever way you look at it. The sun's going to set, whatever you're doing at that time, it's the same. It's the same all the way around.
Mm-hmm. I think of joy and different types of joy. I think of, the different types of, having dinner with your family, because that's very rare nowadays. Of course, I don't really have family dinners. We try to make it happen, but it, you know, sometimes somebody sticks out. We have a date night. We go out alone. You know, my mom's pretty far away. My brother's pretty far away. So I think of that. I think of the joy of being able to have a drink with your friend. You know, after long days, it's just important to be able to decompress. And, you know, you have that joy of reading a really good book, which I have done before, where I'm so into it that I don't want to put it down. And it's just, that's all I thought of with this quote, is a certain type of joy that you get with certain types of situations.
I mean, like I said, it's not that I don't agree with you. It's just that I think that it's more of a, it's just the same all the way around. No matter what you're doing, at the end of the day, it's like, it's the same all the way around.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the same thing as reading a book, you know, like no two people will ever read the same book the same way. It's the same thing as quotes, you know, like no two people will ever read the same quote the same way.
And I get what Lena's saying, you know, she's saying that there's a joy to everything, you know, whether it's the joy of you drinking with someone else or the joy of you reading a book. I mean, you know, to me nowadays, you know, if it was joy, to me a joy is like playing Pokemon Go, you know.
Yeah.
You know, it's a joy, you know. At the end of the day, you know, it's whatever makes you happy, you know. Mm-hmm. I think that's what the quote means. Whatever makes you happy. What about you, Eli?
Well, I'm reading it over, and I don't know. I feel like what he's
it's not like I'm not asking you guys to actually analyze it. I'm not asking you guys to, you know, to decipher it in any way. I just want to know what it means to you guys, like on the spot, like right now, like you reading it, you hearing it. What does it mean to you? You don't have to be right. You don't have to be wrong. There's different ways to decipher, you know, messages.
Obviously, there's no right or wrong answer here.
Right.
Yeah.
Like you said, everyone sees everything different. There's always a different perspective to everything, every little thing. Everyone comes from different places, so everyone's always gonna have a different view on a certain thing, you know. I guess to me, this is kind of just saying, like, you know, on a sunny day, everything's always gonna seem, you know, pretty good. You're with family, you're with friends, you know, you're by yourself. You know, I feel like a sunny day always makes you feel happy in a way, because, you know, you get those days where it's cloudy, it's rainy, and you're not gonna really enjoy those type of days. But when the sun's out, you actually want to be out doing stuff, either by yourself or with your family or friends. Just feels better. You know, that's the way I see it.
Sun's gonna shine and sun's gonna set.
Basically, sun's gonna shine regardless.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, there's always the next day.
Yeah, of course.
Awesome. Cool, guys. Any final words?
I guess I want to give a shout out to my brother.
Shit. I also want to give a shout out to his brother.
Oh, shit. And I also want to give a shout out to his brother.
I agree.
Oh my God, we're all gonna give a shout out to the same person.
Special shout out.
He's our number one fan. Yeah, he's our number one. He's in competition. Actually,
he's the number one.
He is in competition.
He's in competition with Hugo.
Yes, he is.
He's the
the only reason I say this is because I spoke to him earlier.
Okay.
And he gave very good details about our podcasts
and some suggestions
some suggestions.
You need to tell him to join the Discord.
That's actually very true. I forgot to tell him that. I forgot to mention the Discord. Yeah. But yeah, like he gave, in his words, he listens to us while he works, and he works, you know, normally graveyard shifts.
Okay.
So you guys keep him entertained while he's out there.
So he's actually Eli's brother, so he would know more about this than I do.
Okay.
Well, what has he said about us, Eli?
Actually, to be honest, he didn't tell me. He hasn't told me anything. When he was talking to you, that was the first time I knew that he was actually listening to you guys. Mm-hmm. I didn't know he was listening to you guys before, just like a couple hours ago.
Yeah.
So, but like Chris Cass said, he did give him some insights, I guess suggestions of how him as a listener, you know, what his input on, I guess, the podcast and stuff like that. So yeah, just wanted to give him a shout out.
Awesome. So we're gonna go ahead and give a shout out to Marcos here, which is Eli's brother.
Yep.
He's one of our listeners, so we appreciate that. We appreciate the love.
He's one of our number one listeners. He's one of our number one fans.
And
I'm not gonna say he is the number one fan, but he is one of the number one fans.
He's in competition with Hugo now.
Yes, he is.
So we'll see how that goes. We'll keep you guys updated on that.
They're gonna have to fight.
We're gonna have to have him on here.
If they have time on this podcast together, we'll kind of like
have
give
a
them
debate.
Pin them against each other.
Yeah, pretty much.
Quiz them, everything.
Hey, that'll be interesting.
That'll be very interesting, actually.
And especially inebriated with some beers.
Oh yeah,
that'll make it more fun.
Right.
Maybe not then. Maybe not then.
Awesome.
We're gonna have to censor some stuff out.
Yeah, pretty much, man. There might be some fist
people.
fights. We might
no, I don't want
need
that.
to make this into a YouTube podcast.
No, we're gonna have
visual podcast.
World star.
Awesome, guys. So our shout outs to Marcos
And Hugo, I guess.
And Hugo.
Don't say I guess. That's
I
the
guess.
Boy. That's the
Well, see,
boy.
this is Eli, and
Just
we're shouting
kidding,
out his
Hugo.
brother,
I
and we're
love you
also
too,
shouting
Hugo.
out Hugo.
He's also the
So
boy.
yeah, exactly,
To both of our boys,
he's got a
Marcos
bias.
I still love you, Hugo, but that's my brother.
exactly.
Exactly, man.
Awesome, guys. So hope you have had fun with us. We've drank in this quart of beer.
Hope you guys enjoyed me.
Eli will most definitely be back at some point.
Absolutely.
Oh, he will most definitely.
Yes.
Especially some of my friends.
Oh
Yeah,
man,
we need some.
that's gonna be interesting.
We'll have a lot of guests. We'll
I-
just have random people come in.
Maybe Axel, but
I know-
like I've stated before, me and him don't have a filter, pretty much.
I mean, that's gonna be tough,
So,
but it'll be fine.
Yeah,
We mentioned a couple of our friends, Abraham today and Adrian.
that's true.
Hopefully, like I said, we get them on the podcast one day. And
Hopefully they have time for it.
of course. So with that being said, and with no more final words on the beer, we're gonna go ahead and say goodbye. So I've been Flames Kid.
I've been Chris Cass.
I am Lena.
I've been Eli.
Damn, Eli, sexy ass voice.
Thank you.
Hit me with that shit one more time, bro, please.
All right, Cass.
Thank you.
Eli, you want to give out your handle to our listeners?
Anything else you want to add on?
Yeah. Anything else you want to add on?
It was fun. Like I've actually been trying to get on here for a while. But due to work and just life, haven't been able to.
Yeah, of course.
So I was supposed to be on here like probably a couple episodes ago, but
3 episodes ago.
Yeah, I think
did
you were supposed to be here for what, our second one?
Second.
I think
Nobody's
so.
counting.
First, second. Yeah, I was supposed to, but I made it happen today. So thank
sure,
you
for
guys
sure.
for
Life
having me.
happens, but
Yeah, of
we're happy
course.
to have you.
Yep.
Thanks for having me. Yeah,
Of course, man. Anytime.
I'll try and be here again.
Yeah. Cool,
Whatever
man.
you want, Eli.
But it was
We'll
fun.
be right here, bro.
You want to give out your Instagram handle?
Sure. It's just Eli with. I don't even remember myself, but it's like 2 or 3 underscores between the just and Eli.
Yeah, that's where it gets
And Eli
complicated.
is literally just ELI.
Damn.
Some people have.
Don't worry, guys. We'll go ahead and put that in our description for this podcast, so you'll be able to find them there
Yeah.
and all of our handles. So we're not gonna go ahead and explain that and complicate your lives, with our complicated handles.
Yeah.
So, we're gonna go ahead and bid you adieu, and hope you guys have a great night.